I never imagined a simple lie would uncover a heartbreaking truth about her silver star. I will never forget the day everything fell apart. The air felt heavy. My heart raced as I stared into the depths of her eyes, searching for answers that just wouldn't come. She wore that silver star like a badge of honor, a shining testament to bravery, or so I thought. The way it caught the light, sparkling so brightly, it felt enchanting. But on that day, it felt like a dark omen. She clutched it tightly, hands trembling, as if it were a lifeline. I could almost feel the chill radiating from it, freezing us in place. I wanted to scream, to shake her out of the silence that enveloped us. There was something unsettling about the whispers that danced in the corners of our small town. Aunt May always claimed she had seen the star once before, long ago, back when she was young and wild. Beware the shadows that follow it, she warned with a trembling voice. I shrugged it off then, but now those words echoed like a chilling melody in my mind. What did Aunt May know? And why did I ignore the warning signs? My mother always said silver was a color of the moon, of dreams, of hope. But all I could think of was how it intertwined with despair. We were connected by blood, by love, by shared secrets. But my trust faltered, fractured like glass with the weight of her unspoken truth. I could see it eating at her, a shadow of fear flickering in her gaze. Tell me the truth, I begged. My voice cracked. The world around us blurred, a sinister fog rolling in. My heart thudded painfully against my ribcage as the silence stretched on. The weight of anticipation became unbearable. I could hear my pulse throbbing in my ears, drowning out everything else. What was she hiding? And then, just like that, she finally spoke. Each word felt like a dagger, ripping through me. It's not what you think, she whispered. The betrayal stung like acid in my veins. I thought I knew her. How could I have been so blind? The atmosphere shifted, suddenly charged. I could almost touch the tension that hung in the air. Every passerby in the street found themselves glued to the scene, their murmurs rising like a tempest. What is going on? Someone whispered, shading their eyes against the fading sun. Their judgment washed over me, mingling with my confusion. I wanted to disappear, to run far from this moment, but I was trapped in this web of revelations. What lay beneath that silver star? With a heavy heart, I stared back at her, waiting for the next blow. All the shards of our world trembled in the looming silence. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The chill of that moment lingered, wrapping around me like a shroud. I struggled to process her words, the denial bubbling like a cauldron within me. I was caught in an unrelenting tide of emotions: fear, anger, betrayal, but beneath it all lay a flicker of something resembling hope. Perhaps this was all a misunderstanding. Perhaps her truth could still bring us back to the warmth we once shared. It's not what you think. Her voice, still trembling, faded into the sound of the bustling crowd. I could see their watchful eyes, a mixture of curiosity and concern, steering clear but undeniably aware of the tempest brewing between us. For a moment, the world blurred. Everything but her and that haunting silver star fell away. What do you mean? I pressed, my voice steadier now, desperation underlining each word. If it's not what I think, then tell me. What is it? I wasn't just asking for clarity. I was pleading for the soul of our relationship, for the truths that connected us like invisible threads. Her lips quivered, a silent battle waging within her. I remained rooted in place, an anchor in the storm, wishing I could be her refuge. After seconds that felt like hours, she took a deep breath, and the air thickened with anticipation. It belonged to my mother. The revelation struck me like a lightning bolt. I felt the air rush out of my lungs, my heart racing as I grappled with the implications. Her mother, a shadow in the stories she had told, a figure cloaked in mystery. I remembered the tales, the way she had vanished one day without a trace, leaving behind whispers of abandonment and sorrow. What do you mean? How does that change everything? Her hands fell from the star, the silver pendant now dangling from its chain between us like a pendulum swinging toward an unknown fate. She didn't just leave. She was taken. The words trembled out, heavy with hidden truths, each syllable clawing deeper into my chest. What do you mean? Taken by whom? My hands clenched, a growing sense of unease gnawing at me. I noticed the glimmer of tears forming in her eyes. The people who came for her, she continued, her breath hitching. They wanted the star. It was a key to something dangerous. I thought it was just a family legend, but it's real, and now I'm afraid they'll come for me. I could hardly breathe. The silver star, a beacon of safety in my mind, now transformed into an anchor weighing us down, dragging us into murky waters where ancient shadows lay in wait. But why didn't you tell me any of this? We could have figured it out together. I didn't want to drag you into this. She cried, emotions spilling forth, uncontained and raw. I thought if I kept it buried, it would be forgotten. And then, as if compelled by the weight of unsaid fears, she stepped closer. The distance that had grown between us felt insurmountable, yet in that moment, I reached for her hand. You didn't have to face this alone, I murmured, desperate to bridge the chasm that stretched between us. Outside, the sky began to darken, the street lamps flickering to life as shadows elongated and merged. A sudden commotion on the corner drew our attention. A figure, cloaked in darkness, approached with purpose. Instinctively, her grip tightened around my hand, the warmth of her skin sending shivers through my body. Who asked that? I whispered, my heart racing. I don't know, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper, fear lacing her words. As the figure drew nearer, recognition hit me like a wave. Someone from my childhood, now worn and dangerous. It can't be, I muttered, stepping back. Their eyes locked onto mine with a knowing gleam, shadows of old memories igniting a firestorm of dread within me. Hello, old friend, they said, their voice smooth yet commanding like the dark side of the moon. I believe we have some unfinished business. With those words, the world seemed to spin, and I felt the ground shift beneath us. My mind raced. The shocking revelation that this tangled web was far from over struck me harder than the chill of the night. In that moment, I knew this was only the beginning. The tension hung in the air, thick enough to slice through the suffocating shadows that clung to us like a veil. My heart pounded against my ribcage, a frantic drum echoing my rising panic. The figure before us, the one who had once danced at my childhood birthday parties and shared in every small joy, now stood shrouded in darkness, an enigma of malice. Unfinished business? I repeated, the incredulity dripping from my voice, barely masking the tremor of fear. Memories surged unbidden, flashes of laughter intertwined with the harsh reality of betrayal. What do you want? They stepped closer, the dim light illuminating the sharp contours of their face, twisting with a smile that didn't reach their eyes. There's more to your friend's story than either of you realize. Even little stars have secrets worth stealing, especially the ones tied to family legacies. A chill crept along my spine, and I squeezed her hand tighter, searching for strength within her grasp. This has nothing to do with you. Leave us alone, I declared, trying to infuse my words with authority. But the poison of doubt seeped into my resolve. Oh, but it does, they countered, peering into the depths of my eyes, as if seeking to unravel the facade I wore. You and I share a past, and that past is intricately woven with your precious silver star. Fury ignited within me, burning bright amid the fears smoldering beneath the surface. You know nothing about what we share. You are just a shadow of what once was. Their laughter, cold and devoid of warmth, bounced off the walls of the alley. But the shadows are where truths become clearer, aren't they? The star is more than a cherished trinket. It is a beacon, a key to realms forgotten. Its power is something both you and she must learn to navigate if you survive long enough to do so. I turned to her, searching her eyes for comprehension, for validation, for some semblance of the truth that might calm the storm whirling inside me. But her gaze was distant, lost somewhere beyond the immediate threat. Her breath came in quick, shallow bursts, and I could feel the tremor of her body as she struggled to maintain composure. Please, she whispered, her voice fragile. Tell me what you want. Straight to the point, the figure taunted, their words wrapped in layers of mockery. I want what was promised, what was taken from me. A fair exchange for the past. Before I could respond, the figure reached into their coat, producing an object that caught the sparse light, an identical silver star, tarnished and forgotten, yet resonant with energy. A shiver danced through me as I recognized its legacy tied to her family and the tales that whispered through the corridors of history. They know you have it, they continued, oblivious to the horror etched across my face. They want to rest until they have both stars. You have the power to unlock the doors sealed away, the very doors her mother could never open. My heart raced, a primal instinct driving me to shield her from the looming darkness. We'll never hand it over. You'll never get what you want. Each word dripped with defiance, yet I could feel the tremors of doubt entwining with my courage. At that moment, a small voice broke through the tension, the voice of a stranger passing by, someone who noticed the escalating confrontation. Is everything okay? They asked, uncertainty lacing their words. It was a simple offer of concern, yet it stood out starkly against the backdrop of our turmoil. Run, I urged, but the figure stepped forward, eyes narrowing like slits as they focused on the well-meaning stranger. No need to involve yourself, they replied coldly. We have business here. In an instant, the stranger's gaze hardened as they turned to flee. Adrenaline surged through me, igniting a primal instinct to protect, to fight. I positioned myself in front of her, ready to defend her from the shadows of our past. Do not let them take you away from me, I whispered urgently, squeezing her hand, trying to remind her of the warmth amid the encroaching chill. But that dread blossomed again like a rose, laced with thorns. The tug of familial bonds can be stronger than any promise made in the dark, the figure warned, a sinister quality threading through their words. Are you certain you know who you're standing beside? I faltered, the question hanging heavy in the air, casting seeds of doubt that silently sprouted between us. Just as their dark silhouette loomed closer, ready to unfurl the tangled web of truths, the earth trembled as sirens wailed in the distance, an unpromised hope piercing through the night. The figure hissed, frustration sweeping over them as the light approached. This isn't over, they spat, retreating into the shadows from whence they came, their words lingering like smoke around us. The stars will align again, and when they do, remember this moment. You can only hide from the truth for so long. The choice will be yours. As their silhouette melted away, I turned to face her, but the silence that enveloped us was deafening. The night air felt colder, heavier, as the weight of their words settled between us like an insurmountable burden. What did they mean? She asked, voice trembling, yearning for the reassurance I could barely conjure. Do you think could it be true? In that moment, my heart felt like it was being pulled in two directions, one toward the promise of hope that still flickered within her, the other into the depths of uncertainty, where shadows threatened to consume us whole. Before I could answer, the ground beneath us trembled again, but this time it came not from the fading echoes of darkness. A flicker of light glimmered in the distance, but as I turned my gaze toward it, my stomach dropped. What emerged was a figure cloaked in familiarity, standing at the edge of the alley, their presence both comforting and unsettling. That it was someone I thought I had left behind, someone who bore the answers I never sought but desperately needed. And in that fleeting moment, I realized, as chilling as it felt, that the real journey had only just begun. The figure stepped into the light, and the world around me seemed to narrow, reality blurring as I struggled to comprehend the sight before me. It was him, my older brother, Jonas, whose absence had carved a hollow space in my heart for years. A painful mixture of relief and dread filled the air between us, heavy like an anchor. Jonas? The disbelief in my voice shattered the silence, drawing her gaze to the man who had walked out of our lives, leaving behind only whispers of his choices. His expression was somber, shadowed by the weight of unspoken emotions. I didn't think I'd find you like this, he said, his voice tremulous with a hint of nostalgia as he stepped closer, searching for the pieces of our shared past. I was hoping you'd be safe, but it seems I'm too late. The echo of his words sent ripples through me. Safe? Was I ever truly safe? Did he know about the darkness that had pursued us? Too late for what? I pressed, urgency igniting my words. You left us, Jonas. You promised you'd look after me after Mom. And now you show up uninvited. Just when things couldn't be more complicated. The hurt flooded back, spilling into the cracks of my carefully constructed facade. What do you want? Help? He uttered, the single word laced with desperation, glancing at the space where the shadowy figure had been. We're in danger, all of us. Her grip tightened on my hand, and I could feel her pulse racing, a frantic echo of my own. What are you talking about? She asked, shifting slightly, her voice barely more than a whisper, aware that we were still standing at the cusp of an abyss. Jonas took a step closer still, his eyes searching us both, flickering with an emotion I couldn't quite decipher. The silver stars, he said, his voice dropping conspiratorially. They're anchors for something much bigger than us. We need both to truly understand our family's legacy. I didn't leave for the reasons you think, he added, as if unlocking a secret that had remained concealed for far too long. Stop. I felt overwhelmed, the tangle of old wounds resuming their sharp thorns. Say what you mean. He looked away momentarily, his jaw tightening. When his gaze met mine again, it bore the weight of long-buried truths. I've seen things. Things that shouldn't have been. Secrets bound to our legacy that have chased me for years. Our family isn't what you thought it was. Frustration surged through me. What do you know? And how is any of this connected to what just happened? I gestured back toward the darkness, the remnants of the encounter still clinging to us like ominous specters. The figure you faced isn't just some random stalker. Even the mention of the word sent shivers spiraling through the fragile air. What do you mean? They were part of a group people searching for the stars, people who want to control their power. If we don't unite, we risk losing everything. His voice cracked with the intensity of revelation, a damning truth that threatened to topple our frail world. I refused to believe it. I retorted, anger sparking in my chest. You turned your back on us for years. You don't get to waltz back into our lives like it's only a game anymore. A flicker of pain passed across his features, and I felt her hand squeeze mine tighter, caught in the storm of emotions swirling between us. Please, he pleaded softly, his voice now raw with emotion. I came back to fix things for you, for Mom. A flicker of nostalgia ignited in me a childhood memory of his laughter, moments in the sun we had shared, before betrayal dimmed that light. But pain masked the way forward. So this is how it ends? I spat, letting my resentment flow. With you dragging us into this mess? Why should we trust you? Jonas seemed to falter, momentarily lost in thought, but then the urgency returned to his voice. Because you don't have a choice. The other star, it's not far from here. It's in the family house where this whole nightmare began. I can take you to it. At that moment, a flicker of desperation dulled the panic blooming within me. The pieces he presented were just uncertain enough to taste as both a salvation and a trap. You want us to confront whatever's hiding there? What if it's worse than what we've faced? It's our only hope, he implored, the sincerity in his eyes unwavering. If we don't face the truth, if we refuse to embrace our legacy, we'll keep being hunted by shadows of the past. Just as his words settled into a tense silence, wails of sirens grew louder, the echo of approaching help juxtaposed with the weight of his revelation. Her anxious gaze drifted to me, searching for my cue as if my next words might decide our fate. What if, she began, hesitating, what if we truly are intertwined with all this darkness? What if the stars are controlling us instead? The question struck me like an arrow. I was suddenly aware of the chilling truth that this journey wasn't just about reclaiming the stars. It was also about unearthing our family's hidden past. Messy and tangled in heartache, Jonas's eyes darted toward the entrance of the alley, jittery and alert. We need to make a choice now. But just as the urgency of the moment crescendoed, a loud crash echoed through the alley, my heart dropping as shadows spilled from the mouth of the darkness, a collective of cloaked figures, eyes glinting with hunger for something we had yet to fully understand. Jonas, I yelled, instinctively drawing her closer, my mind racing in chaotic circles. But before he could respond, a single voice emerged from the crowd, cutting through the tumult with a bone-chilling familiarity. The stars belong to us, it said, each syllable dripping with foreboding, carrying the resonance of destiny entwined with blood. And we've come to collect what's ours. As their forms surrounded us, hope and dread intertwined violently, and I realized that the real reckoning was just beginning, a harrowing dance along the precipice of truth, family, and sacrifice, the silver stars shimmering ominously overhead. The figures closed in, their movements synchronized, as if choreographed by a dark force unseen. The air thickened, choking me with unrelenting fear and the acrid scent of impending doom. My heart raced, the thudding echo drowning out the world around me, leaving only the dread of failure, of losing everything I had worked so hard to protect. Jonas, I panicked, gripping her hand tightly, and in that moment, his presence felt both anchoring and disorienting, as though he were both my shield and a harbinger of chaos. What do we do? His face was a mosaic of emotions: fear, regret, determination. We fight, he replied, his voice steady but quietly tremulous. We have to face them. They are here for the truth we've hidden from each other. But what truth? I shouted, the urgency of our situation eclipsing my own confusion. It was maddening how one revelation could unleash a tempest of shadows, converging on us with menacing intent. From the circle of cloaked figures, a tall woman stepped forward, her visage partially hidden by the hood, but her voice clear, reverberating like a chilling whisper through the night. You've been blind, all of you. The legacy isn't just history, it lives in each of you, pulses with your very essence. The silver stars are not just our anchors, they are our chains. Bonds we can sever if we embrace the darkness. Each word cut through the air like glass. You think you can manipulate us? I spat back, my anger a thin veil for the fear stringing through my veins. We're not your pawns. Jonas stepped between me and the figure, standing resolute, though the tremor in his hand painted a different story. You don't understand, he shouted, desperation fueling his plea. We're bound to this legacy, whether we choose to acknowledge it or not. Running 1T save us. The woman laughed, a cold, eerie sound that sent chills up my spine. You still cling to hope, then? How quaint. Hope is a fragile thing, one signal away from shattering. She motioned to the figures flanking her, and they shifted closer, their intentions clear. Their eyes gleamed with a hunger that threatened to swallow us whole. That I turned to her, my heart pounding wildly. What does she mean? Hope. What did we ever have if it was built on lies? In the family house, she managed amid the rising chaos, her voice shaking with both fear and an unexpected ember of resolve. We'll understand what we need to do. If they want to collect what's theirs, we have to find what's ours first. But the shadows flickered, moments from lunging. I could sense Jonas preparing himself for the fight. The air crackled with tension, and I could feel the knife edge of uncertainty. Our lives are at stake, Jonas insisted, his words a lifeline amid the escalating dread. There's a reason why they're here. We must protect the truth we've always feared to confront. Then, as if summoned by his declaration, a crack of thunder ruptured above us, a celestial disturbance that mirrored the conflict breaching the surface of my heart. I stole a glance at the sanctuary of the stars, their silver glimmers now mocking the chaos unfolding below. The figures tensed, their focus sharpening as the storm roared. You think the storm will save you? The woman taunted, stepping forward with a predator-esque grace. It will only reveal more of your weaknesses. My frustration erupted in a single breath, laden with potent longing. We aren't weak, and we will not be your victims. But the moment lingered, silence dropping like a thick fog before the storm. It was then that I realized time was slipping, my heart thundering as realization dawned. Jonas's secrets had birthed this moment, but ours were entangled with something deeper that he had yet to reveal. Suddenly, as if sensing this revelation, the woman struck forward, her gaze locking onto mine with unsettling intensity. You hold something powerful, she breathed, her eyes piercing through the facade of my fear. I can see it. You are linked to the stars far more intimately than you know. That connection is what they crave. It's what will either bind you or liberate you. Before I could process her words, Jonas grabbed my wrist, pulling me closer to him as the figures surged forward, shadows lurching with ferocity. We need to go now? And with that, we turned, primal instincts igniting a desperate escape. I could hear their voices, each word vibrating with dark promise, echoes of shared history spilling out like secrets that refuse to stay buried. You'll never escape the truth. You belong to us. Panic clawed at my chest as we raced down the alley, my lungs burning, unaware of the trail of shadows weaving through the night in pursuit. But just as we emerged from the shadows, a blinding light burst before us, illuminating a familiar figure standing resolutely. It was Mom. "Stay behind me," she commanded, face drawn but determined. The warmth of her presence cradled me in an odd mixture of safety and confusion. "I've been searching for you both." "Mom, how did you?" I began, but she cut me off with a steely gaze that told me she knew more than she had ever let on. "Not now. The stars are restless. We're being hunted, and I can't allow them to take what's rightfully ours." Though uncertainty gripped my heart, something else flickered, too, a spark of hope held tightly within the storm. But as our breaths echoed in the night, the shadows seemed to shift uneasily behind us, the woman's voice rising from the dark, piercing through the air like a thunderclap. "You can't hide from your legacy, my dear. We'll find you one way or another." In that moment, I felt it, a tremor through the very fabric of our family's history, intertwined with the silver stars above, now shimmering ominously like a warning. The reality of our fate hung precariously in the balance, and for the first time, I understood that the path ahead was fraught with dangers that threatened not just my safety, but the truth of who we were. And right then, with darkness closing in, I was left grappling with the shocking realization that our true fight was not just for survival, but for understanding the very legacy that bound us. The stars blazed above, and the echoes of what was yet to come haunted every breath, leading us ever closer to a truth that could shatter our world anew. I clung to my mother's arm as though it were a lifeline, and for a fleeting moment, the chaos faded beneath the warmth of her presence. But her eyes were steely, betraying none of the fear that shuddered through me like a whispered warning. "Mom, we have to get out of here," I said, desperation leaking into my voice. She nodded, glancing over her shoulder as though the shadows themselves were waiting, watching. "We can't stay where they can reach us. We must seek refuge. The old house is our only chance." The urgency in her tone was unnerving. She had always been my anchor, but now she felt like a compass spinning wildly. "Why did you come? How did you know we were in trouble?" Jonas interjected, his eyes darting around, betrayed by the racing panic beneath his composed facade. Mom inhaled sharply. "I was afraid. Afraid of your father's legacy catching up. I thought I could keep it away from you, but it seems fate made other plans." Her voice broke for a heartbeat. It shattered the thin veneer of calm I clung to. That I wanted to reassure her, to tell her that we could face this together, that we would uncover the truth, forge a new path. But terror coiled around my insides. "Do you know what they want?" "They want the stars," she replied simply, locking her gaze with mine. "They crave the power hidden in our bloodline. It's our connection to the past, to everything we've tried to flee." The look she gave Jonas was like a dam breaking a moment of shared silences. Secrets both immense and overwhelming simmered beneath the surface. Before I could process her words or ask what she meant, the night around us felt alive with a different kind of weight. From behind the opulent column of overgrown trees, I could see the shadows poised to strike. "He*s their target, you know," the woman's voice called out, icy winds carrying it forward, slinking through the air. "He*s the one who ignited their ambition." "Shut up," I yelled, but my voice trembled. Mom's grip tightened, pulling me deeper into her ward against the encroaching darkness. "Jonas, we'll stay together, no matter what. Your power, that connection, must not be given away. We can't let them have it." "No," he shouted back, panic gripping him as well and ricocheting off the trees. "This is my burden to bear. You're all in danger because of me. I won't let you be hunted because of my legacy." The shadows shifted, and the echo of the woman's laughter sent chill after chill down my spine. "You're naively brave, child. But the truth is more powerful than your intent. The stars have bound you to this. Allow them to guide you, and you may yet find the answers you seek. Or continue to fight it, and lose everything." Her eyes glinted, unfurling a truth that twisted in my gut. "No one is losing anything," I shot back, not fully grasping the weight of my own words beneath the cloak of fear mingling with defiance. "We'll fight together. We'll understand this legacy." As if drawn by the sheer force of my intention, a gust of wind blew through the clearing, rustling the branches and momentarily dancing around us like spirits. In that moment, Jonas's face relaxed almost imperceptibly. "You're right," he said, meeting my gaze with newfound determination. We will face this together. But as we turned to make our way toward the house, the shadows erupted forward, their forms coiling wickedly, oozing malice. You cannot run from what you are. The truth waits. Their words unfurled in the night, like dark vines ensnaring our feet. Before I could react, a figure darted forward. Bearing the very essence of darkness, the tall woman leading the others had crossed the barrier between shadows and solid ground, an embodiment of our nightmares. In her outstretched hand, a small silver star pulsed, glowing with an otherworldly light. This is what binds you, child. You want to soak in its power? Accept the truth of your heritage, and you will be free. I felt at the urge to reach for the star, a whisper promising clarity, freedom from the weight on my shoulders, but a voice inside screamed in protest. No, it's that kind of power that has tormented us. We will not surrender to it. A split second of hesitation engulfed me, and in that moment, Jonas stepped forward. Stay back, he commanded, desperation mingled with rage as he pushed me behind him, shielding our smallest shred of light against encroaching darkness. But as he did, something snapped like a taut rope between us. The silver star erupted in an ethereal light, casting shadows away, illuminating the twisted faces of the figures around us. Jonas gasped, winded, as if the sheer brilliance of the truth clawed at his soul. Then, I saw at the reflection of the star in his eyes, the depth of its mystery and pain blooming into a kaleidoscope of understanding. Jonas, I called, horror creeping into my chest as I noticed something. He and T realized the shadows were not simply pursuing us. They were searching for him, for what lay hidden in his heart. Run. His voice broke, and in that moment, the world narrowed down to that single command amid the chaos closing in, but the truth cut deeper than any blade. In that fleeting glance behind me, I caught the fleeting silhouette of my mother, her face contorted in a mixture of defiance and despair, and then I understood. They were not here just for Jonas. The shadows desired our legacy, and they would stop at nothing, even if it meant shattering us into pieces. Suddenly, a blinding force erupted from behind. A wild fear screamed from the others. Time folded and stretched painfully as the air crackled with energy, threatening to engulf us in an onslaught of revelation. And it was then I knew, buried in that silence between breaths and crashing thunder, that the pulse of truth was resonating from the very stars above. And as they twinkled down like watchful eyes, our reality spun, leaving us threaded tightly to a destiny neither Jonas nor I truly understood. I took a step back, my heart shattering, a dread realization curling its icy fingers around me. Jonas. No. But it was too late. The ground beneath us shook violently, ripping apart the world we knew. And as I clutched my mom's hand, struggling to pull him away, I could only watch in horror as the shadows surged, swallowing him whole, leaving us screaming in the confines of a truth that was far from over. We were no longer just fleeing shadows, but faced with an undeniable revelation. If the past had risen to take him, our fight was not merely for survival, but for acceptance of the broken legacy and its heart-wrenching truth. The echo of Jonas's name hung in the air like a forlorn prayer, lost beneath the cacophony of the shadows swirling to consume him. I tightened my grip around my mother's hand, the shock coursing through me, rendering my body immobile, consumed by an overwhelming sense of despair. The stars above, once twinkling fragments of hope, now felt like silent witnesses to our tragedy. "Mom, we have to go," I screamed, the urgency clawing at my throat. But her eyes were fixed on where Jonas had stood, a raw pain reflecting in the depths of her gaze, a mirror of my own anguish. "This isn't over," she murmured, her voice barely a whisper, still tethered to the remnants of her son. In that moment, a weight shrouded us in darkness. The very air felt like a vice, suffocating the small flicker of resilience within me. That I remembered the silver star, its pulsating glow, an echo of too many choices, too many burdens. If we could just understand what that means, maybe we could bring him back. My words dripped of desperation, each syllable reverberating with an aching hope, but my mother shook her head, her brow furrowing as she pulled me close. "The silver star is not merely a symbol of power," she breathed out, her voice steadying with each word. "It's a remnant of our bloodline's burden. Whoever harnesses its energy must pay the price, not just with their power, but with their very soul. Then we cannot let them have it. I shot back fiercely, a newfound fire igniting within me. I could feel anger infusing my veins. It propelled me forward, pushing me to confront the shadows lingering at the edges of our vision. We have to find a way to save Jonas. We can't let it end like this. We can't let them win. Suddenly, the shadows lunged, a wave of dark forms coiling around us like a predatory beast. The icy tendrils grazed my skin, threatening to draw me into their depths, but I refused to budge. In that moment of sheer defiance, the storm inside me burst forth tinged with fear, yet resolute. Then, through the veil of chaos, a figure stepped into the clearing, a man cloaked in shadows, his eyes gleaming like bleak moons. What makes you think you can save him? His voice echoed coldly, a mockery of our hopes, yet something about him felt familiar. Who are you? I spat, my pulse racing, adrenaline fueling my courage. I am the keeper of your fate, he replied, his gaze flickering to my mother. And the truth carries the power to either redeem or destroy you. What truth? I questioned, refusing to look away. A strange, magnetic pull emanated from him, hinting at answers hidden deeper than the night around us. What do we need to accept? The past is a tapestry woven of light and dark, child. The star binds you to more than just your blood. Every thread comes with a cost. His words danced through the air, wrapping around my resolve, pulling unwanted memories from the depths of my mind. Images bombarded me, Jonas's laughter, our shared moments steeped in innocence and warmth, the glow of that silver star illuminating our family. But it was interspersed with shards of betrayal, of a legacy that loomed heavy above us. Your father, the figure continued, could control the power, but it consumed him. What was buried within him was not merely a gift. It was a curse he took to protect you. The shadows only follow what you are afraid of facing, the choice that shadows your very essence. Stop. I don't want to hear this. I screamed, clutching my head as memories the dark man brought into view clawed back, forcing me to confront truths I wasn't ready to embrace. My father's absence felt palpable, like a phantom whispering through the shadows. Hiding won't save you from the truth. It binds you, shapes who you are. You claim to protect him now, but are you willing to embrace the legacy that comes with it? His voice dropped in intensity, urging me to peel back the layers of despair that clung to us like a shroud. I don't care about the legacy, I shouted, feeling the words slice through the heavy air. I care about Jonas. My heart cracked open, raw and exposed, lingering in the tension that held us all captive. Then you must be prepared for what lies hidden within you. The essence of truth swirled in melodrama, beckoning, teasing, dangerous. The flicker of hope danced just out of reach, but my determination flourished, eddying with the shadows that loomed around me. I will save him. We will uncover the truth together, I declared, though uncertainty clouded my vision. If saving Jonas meant confronting this harrowing legacy, could I bear its weight? I wasn't sure what it would demand of me. The sudden hush fell over the clearing, punctuated only by the rustling of leaves. Determined to find a way, I glanced back at my mother, whose expression mingled alarm with worry, a fierce protectiveness burning bright in her eyes. She reached out, her fingers brushing against mine, grounding me amidst the turbulence. But just as swiftly, the figure slipped back into the shadows, leaving us with questions unanswered. The reckoning will come, and with it, the chance to reclaim what is lost. His voice drifted like a ghost, resonant with despair and hope intertwined. Mom. I turned to her, sensing the urgency of time slipping through our fingers as we stood on the precipice of facing an unspeakable truth, a legacy lurking in shadows. We have to go find him, a way to bring him back. And then, in the rustling darkness, I heard it, a low, anguished call, a faint echo barely distinguishable from my own thoughts. Help me, it begged, a voice far too familiar yet drenched in despair. Jonas, I gasped, an icy realization pricking at my heart. The shadows hadn't just taken him. They had ensnared a part of him. That echo of vulnerability tangled in the darkness. As I began to sprint toward the sound, each step pounded with the rhythm of my heartbeat. Time slowed, and uncertainty blanketed me. I cast one last look at my mother, a silent reassurance shared, before plunging into the depths of the night toward our destiny, marked by the haunting pull of the silver star, where truth and legacy awaited our confrontation. All while the shadows deepened behind us, weaving tales of broken promises and the heart-wrenching truth that could shatter everything we knew. The forest enveloped me, a suffocating maze of shadows and silence. The echo of Jonas's voice reverberated in my mind, a siren-esque call pulling me deeper into the void. My heart raced as branches clawed at my skin, but I pressed on, my resolve forged in desperation. "Help me," he had pleaded, and I would not abandon him. Each step crunched over twigs and leaves, sounds swallowed by the darkness that grew thicker with every breath. I had no plan, no clear path to follow, only a fierce determination fueled by love and anguish. My mother was mere paces behind, her presence a steadying force amidst the chaos, but even her strength could not shield me from the overwhelming weight of uncertainty. "Are you sure?" she called out, concern tinging her voice. "We can't lose ourselves in the darkness. We need to be cautious." But cautiousness felt like a luxury I could not afford. "I have to find him. He needs us," I shot back, trying to drown out the doubts that crept in, much like the shadows around us. The night air was thick with an oppressive energy, as if it were conspiring to keep us apart. Suddenly, through the branches, a flicker of light caught my eye, a glimmer of silver, pulsating faintly like the star we had once revered. My breath hitched. "Mom, over there." I pointed, and she narrowed her eyes, instinctually pushing forward. As he approached the light, a figure emerged just ahead. It was small, frail even, cloaked in a gentle glow that contrasted sharply with the darkness surrounding it. My heart soared at the sight. Could it be Jonas? I called out tentatively, hope surging within me. The figure hesitated, then turned, revealing a visage that was at once comforting and haunting. "Help me," he repeated, but this time the words came out more as a hoarse whisper, laden with the weight of pain and fear. "Jonas." I surged forward again, momentarily forgetting the shadows, forgetting myself. But just as I reached for him, the light flickered, and the figure began to dissolve into the night, seeming to merge with the shadows around him. "Wait," I cried out, desperation clawing at my throat. "Don't leave. We're here to save you." But the brightness dimmed, swallowed whole by the darkness swirling around us as the ghostly remnants slipped away, leaving only a suffocating quiet. I felt a sharp jab of loss pierce through me, pulling at the edges of my spirit. I fell to my knees, tears spilling down my cheeks like a torrent of relentless grief. "Zara." My mother's voice sliced through my despair as she rushed to my side. "We can't give up. You felt it. He was here. We need to follow his energy." But where could I even begin? The path had vanished alongside Jonas, leaving me bereft and shaken. My thoughts spiraled, trapped in the web of emotions that clung to me like a curse. "What if we're too late?" I whispered, more to myself than to my mother. "What if we can't bring him back? Look at the silver star." My mother pressed, guiding my gaze back toward the light, which now flared dimly from the depths of the shadows. "It's our beacon. We must find its source." The flickering calmed my racing heart, a small ember of hope igniting inside me. I wiped my tears and nodded. "You're right. It leads us to him." We stood together, searching through the darkness with newfound determination. Yet, with every step, the weight of the shadows felt heavier, as if they were inflating my fears into tangible forms. The whispers of doubt surrounded us, their melody a discordant symphony taunting our resolve. And then, as we navigated through the thick underbrush, something cracked nearby. A faint rustling caught my ear, a rustle so familiar, so dreadfully alarming. I paused, exchanging a glance with my mother, who wore an expression that mirrored my own horror. Without a word, we stepped toward the sound, the ethereal light leading us further into the unknown. And suddenly, the source revealed itself, a small clearing illuminated by the silver star, its energy radiating warmth. But the warmth was short-lived. In the center lay a small altar, and on it rested a broken piece of an amulet that glimmered with a similar aura. My heart sank as I recognized it, an echo of our family's history. "This is wrong," my mother whispered, her eyes wide with realization. "It can't be, Mother. What is this place?" I asked, the fear twisting my insides, inching closer to dread. It holds the memories of those who harnessed the star's power before us. She replied, a shudder shimmering through her. It's the very site where our past tragedies took shape, a place of sacrifice. No, I breathed out, memory and intuition colliding, shoving aside fragments about the star that I had wished to forget. You mean this is where our father? Yes, she cut in, her voice trembling. Our family isn't just tied to the shadows. We also birthed them. Before I could absorb her revelations, shadows curled at the edges of the altar, twisting menacingly as they took on human forms. My breaths quickened. Those were not just simple remnants, they were embodiments of pain and loss, darkened reflections of our family history. Jonas, I shouted into the rising chaos, searching for him among the encroaching darkness. But in that instant, a chill crept from the heart of the shadows. The echoes returned, beckoning from every direction, sapping the very strength from my core. Then came the chorus of voices, the ghosts of the past, a cacophony of despair and despair. You will pay the price, they whispered, interlacing with a knowledge that this wasn't merely a battle for Jonas. It was the very essence of our lineage of battle entwined with our father's legacy, a haunting truth that threatened to ensnare us forever. I turned to my mother, searching for answers in her wide, frightened eyes. But she stood frozen, her past colliding with my present as the shadows began to constrict us from all angles. Despair tightened my throat. I caught a flicker of light in the distance, an unyielding glow radiating undeniable warmth. Mom, we have to go? But she remained encased in shock. I could feel her unwillingness, the burden of our family's secrets weighing heavy upon her. Suddenly, the shadows lurched forward, a violent rush against us. I gripped her hand tightly, my pulse thundering as the figures loomed closer. We have to fight, together. And with that, I gazed into the depths of the darkness, fear and determination mingling in my heart, knowing that the choice laid before me could alter everything for Jonas, for us, for the legacy that intertwined our fates. Just then, an abrupt voice echoed from beyond the shadows, carrying with it a familiar tune. You think this ends here? It was Jonas. Zara, you're not alone. He beckoned, the shadows swirling, dark and threatening, as the light flickered and pulsed simultaneously. In that moment, I felt the world shift, the past, present, and future colliding with irrevocable force as my choice resounded in the air around me. And with that, I plunged into the heart of the shadows, where the chilling truth awaited us, a truth that would either break us or set us free. The oppressive darkness wrapped around me as I ventured deeper, gripping my mother's hand with a fierce determination. We can't let fear control us, I whispered, drawing strength from her presence even as the shadows danced menacingly nearby. The echoes of Jonas's voice reverberated in my mind, a lifeline against the encroaching despair. You're not alone, he had said, just as we launched ourselves into the maelstrom of family secrets and lost hope. The flickering light of the silver star beckoned me forward. With every step, I felt the shadows press closer, their whispers growing louder, entangling my thoughts in a weave of confusion. Could we truly confront our family's painful past? The very thought of it sent icy fingers crawling up my spine. Zara, my mother's voice broke through the unsettling chorus. Stay focused. We need to reach the source before it's too late. But how could I focus when memories of our father's tragic end threatened to consume us? The image floated unbidden in my mind. A broken man beneath the weight of responsibilities unfulfilled, the once bright star snuffed out, leaving only darkness in its wake. Could it be true that we were tied to this malevolence? Zara, this way, my mother called, her grip tightening as she pulled me toward the altar glowing softly in the clearing. As the remnants swirled menacingly behind us, I caught another glimpse of that ethereal light, a reminder of what we fought for, what we lost, and perhaps what we could reclaim. The altar, a beautiful yet haunting structure, pulsed in rhythm with my heartbeat. I could feel its energy, woven together like the roots of an ancient tree, hinting at truths long buried. What other family tragedies had taken place here? I could feel my mother's turmoil rising beside me, the weight of her memories bulleting through her eyes. With a determined breath, I stepped closer, hoping to unearth anything that could help us understand the burden we carried. As I leaned in, I could hear whispers, intimate and sad. A woman's voice echoed gently, "Seek the truth, and you will find your way." "Mom, do you hear that?" I turned to her, my heart racing. "It's like they're guiding us." "Yes," she nodded, her fear mingling with a semblance of hope. "But we need to be prepared, Zura. The truth is not always kind." Just then, a figure emerged from the shadows, tall and menacing. The lingering essence of despair followed, coiling around him like a mist. "You think you can uncover the truth without paying the price?" The shadowy figure moved toward us, his voice a low hiss that felt like ice against my skin. "We were bound to this fate long ago, children of the star, and now you must honor your lineage." "Leave us," I shouted, my voice trembling but resolute. "We're here to help Jonas. We're not afraid of you." The creature laughed, a sound filled with malice. "Your fear is palpable, child. It feeds us, nurtures the legacy of sacrifice. Jonas will be lost if you fail to embrace your roots," he taunted, pointing to the altar with a long, cold finger. "What do you mean?" I stepped forward, trying to comprehend the threatening entanglement of the past and our future. "How can you speak of sacrifice when all we want is to save him?" The figure only laughed harder, shadows swirling chaotically around him, drawing intricate patterns of anguish in the air. "You are not worthy yet, but one day, you will come to understand what it means to shoulder the burden of this curse." As he finished speaking, the light from the star pulsed violently, illuminating the entire clearing for a fleeting moment before plunging us back into the depths of night. The echoes of voices surrounded me once again, but now they were not just whispers of despair. They trembled with desperation, faint remnants of lives lost, families shattered. "Zara." My mother's frantic voice pulled me back. "Behind you." Before I could react, shadows lunged toward me. Instinct kicked in, and I swung my arm out, prepared to fight as I'd always dreamed of doing when the tumult of our family's past collided with the present. Yet, even as I readied myself, I felt something shift within me, an undeniable urge to seek the light, my father's unyielding love and spirit, that I closed my eyes, letting the memories flood me. "Dad, I need you," I whispered, feeling a rush of warmth envelop my heart. "Guide me." When I opened my eyes, the crescent of light from the silver star flared brighter, the energy coalescing into a faint outline of a figure I recognized, our father, standing resolutely as the shadows retreated momentarily. "Together, my loves. You must be stronger than the shadows that haunt you." His voice wrapped around us like a protective embrace, a sound so familiar, yet fragile. "Dad," I cried, tears flooding my eyes as I took a step closer, desperate to bridge the chasm between the past and now. "Help us save Jonas." "Yes, Zara, but you must face the truth of our lineage. Remember the power that binds us, and don't let the shadows dictate your fate." Just then, the shadows surged forward again, enveloping him, tearing him apart. "No," I screamed, reaching out, my outstretched hand grasping only air. "Don't leave me." The echoes of the past wove louder, a cacophony of despair and cries for help. "You cannot save what has already been lost," they howled, but as fear coursed through me, igniting my spirit, I realized I had a choice. "We won't be the victims anymore," I declared, a newfound strength coursing through my veins. The shadows vibrated violently, recoiling at my conviction. "Mom, we need to push past the pain. We are not just haunted, we are the bearers of hope." She nodded, her face a mixture of fear and belief. "Yes, let us reclaim our light." Together, we turned toward the altar, the silver star pulsating with urgency. I could hear Jonas in the distance, his voice a beacon cutting through the agony. "Zara, I'm here." Summoning every ounce of courage, I bolstered my resolve to shatter the chains that bound us to this darkness, ready to fight for my brother, no matter the cost. And as I faced the shadows, the flickering light of hope ignited in our hearts. I understood that the heartbreaking truth about our silver star was only the beginning of a battle that would forever alter our paths. In that pivotal moment, the shadows recoiled, glaring at us with fury, and in their midst, I saw the echo of Jonas, a faint, desperate cry that echoed an uncertain future. And as the darkness swirled like a storm around us, I found myself wondering, could love truly shatter the night, or were we destined to remain lost, bound to the dark legacy from which we had emerged? The shadows shrieked, a chorus of despair echoing in the stillness around us, their dark forms swirling with anger and hunger. I felt my heart racing as I clutched my mother's hand, our fingers entwined like lifelines tethering us to the ground. The more I focused on that pulsing silver star above us, the more palpable the energy became, a guiding force urging me forward, promising redemption amidst the chaos. Zara. Jonas's voice collided with my senses, drawing me deeper into the spiral of uncertainty. Every creeping shadow stretched closer, yet I felt my resolve harden. You're not alone. Just beyond the veil of darkness, I caught a glimpse of him flickering like a dying flame, held captive by the very essence we fought to overcome. I had to find a way to bring him back. Fear battled with hope inside me, and with every breath, I felt the weight of our family's legacy pressing down. We won't let them take you, I shouted into the shadows, letting the strength of my conviction carry my voice. Together, my mother chimed in, steadfast and radiant as she stood at my side, the embodiment of resilience. We break these chains and bring our son back. The shadows hesitated, their forms shimmering as our voices pierced through the dark, but I knew that the confrontation lay just beneath the surface. Embrace the light, I shouted again, and the silver star above us vibrated with life. It was more than a talisman. It was a symbol of everything we fought to save: the love, the unity, the unbroken connection of family. Suddenly, the air crackled with energy. The shadows twisted violently, thrashing against the wave of defiance we radiated. You think you can defy us? The tall woman from before emerged, her presence suffocating, her gaze smoldering with fury. Your hope is foolish, child. You cannot outrun the sins of your heritage. But I wouldn't let fear dampen my spirit any longer. Our heritage doesn't define us, I shouted, swelling with conviction. It only shapes who we choose to be. With that declaration, the silver star erupted with blinding light, illuminating the clearing and pushing back the darkness like a relentless tide. I could see Jonas struggling, his silhouette caught where light battled against shadow, as if tethered in a fragile cocoon, waiting for rescue. Zara, he cried out, desperation ringing in his voice. Please. We surged forward, the light guiding our path. My mother and I reached for the silver star together, feeling a surge of warmth envelop us, melding into a powerful force that coursed through our veins. We're here, I yelled, tears blurring my vision, but I didn't waver. We'll take you home. The shadows recoiled, their forms twisting violently as the beam of light swallowed them whole. For a moment, the cacophony faded, silence drenching the chaos, and I locked eyes with Jonas, his anguish mirrored in the depths of my heart. With one last push, we stepped into the glowing warmth, hands outstretched, embracing the overwhelming energy that surged around in that heartbeat. The very essence of our ancestry intertwined pain and love, loss and hope, forming a web that both suffocated and set us free. And in the brilliant light, Jonas emerged, slipping from the darkness, as if returned from a long-forgotten journey. Free. Zara. Mom. He collapsed into our arms, utterly spent but alive, his breath ragged against my shoulder. The warmth of his presence anchored me, igniting flames of relief within my chest, dispelling the remnants of despair that had threatened to overshadow our reunion. Time suspended as we held on to one another, the weight of the shadows slackening with every heartbeat, and I felt a profound love washing over us like a gentle tide. We did it, I whispered, my body trembling wholly from the aftermath of fear and realization. We fought our way back. But just as my heart swelled with overflowing joy, a distant rumble echoed through the clearing, a reminder that the tales of the past were not easy to extinguish. The dark figures began to reform, words weaving like knives through the air. You may have won today, but the shadows will always come for what belongs to them, the woman hissed, her tone underscored by a haunting undertone of certainty. No, Jonas interjected, standing straight, his voice steadied. We now understand our legacy, its burdens, and its light. We choose to redefine our path. And it was in that moment a tide, turning as the silver star blazed brightly above, shimmering as though it was breathing with life. You will not command our fate, I declared firmly, the words echoing darkly, filled with the weight of tenacity that we stood united, hands intertwined, drawing upon the power of our family's history that begged to be embraced, not shunned. We would carry the truth, the legacy, but it no longer had the power to divide us. Instead, it strengthened the bonds that tethered us together as we exuded strength in our union. The shadows twisted, flickering as if caught between vanishing and retaliating. This isn't the end, the woman shrieked, her form disintegrating bit by bit. No, it's only the beginning, I responded softly, standing side by side with my mother and brother, knowing we would weather every storm together. The dark remnants retreated, fading into obscurity, their whispers replaced by the tranquil embrace of the silver star's warmth. And as peace settled over the clearing, I stepped forward, knowing our fight wouldn't conclude here. The legacy would be ours to shape, our pain transformed into purpose, an unbreaking thread that would guide us into the light together. We will uncover the truth, Jonas said, his voice strong, and forge a new legacy, one steeped in hope and love. And with those words anchoring within me, I felt an unfamiliar sense of clarity blossom. As the shadows faded from sight, light suffused the clearing, and a sense of steadfast resolution blazed brighter than ever before. Together, we were no longer shackled to our legacy, but were finally free to embrace our reality, the shared strength of family, weaving a tapestry rich with love, resilience, and understanding. This chapter had closed, but a new journey awaited beyond the horizon, ready to be written. And as we stepped forward into the dawn, a whisper of hope lingered in the air, renewing our spirits. Whatever comes next, I vowed softly, savoring the warmth of the light, we'll face it together. For in our hearts, we carried not just a star, but the power of our choices, binding us forever beyond the shadow of the past, a testament that love would always prevail.